You ready? You ready?
Oh, I'm been ready.
Okay. Hello and welcome to EbandFlow. This is a new podcast hosted by myself, Ebony, with co-host, guest, whatever you want to call yourself.
Guest / yeah.
Okay. You want to introduce yourself?
Jesse. How much detail we're going into?
However much detail you want to go into. Well, first let's actually go into the podcast.
Okay.
And then we'll get to know you.
Makes sense.
So basically this platform was just inspired by just, I think, our conversations that we have.
Yeah.
And just trying to cultivate a space and a platform where we can have open dialogues with contrasting perspectives and really challenge one another and also hopefully inspire somebody else who's listening. So really this podcast is going to be rooted in, like I said, contrasting perspectives, expansion, and
just expression for us as well.
Expression for us, right? So this is like a creative outlet for us. And this episode is actually going to be a little intro, obviously, into the podcast. And then also we're just going to dive into creativity and what that means to us, blockages, and creative outlets that help us every single day.
How important it is. And also, this podcast is creativity.
Yeah.
This is our jump into increasing our creativity and working on letting our creativity flow, because I'm having blockages as of recently, and I don't know if you are.
Well, I think that creativity is new for me, like it being expressive in the creative outlets, or like utilizing creative spaces to actually tap into my creativity is really new for me. So it's all new.
So you're new on the path and I'm blocked on the path. So we're trying to...
Sure, yes. But we're all on the path.
We're all on the path.
We're all on the path to creativity.
Which is a good point, because I was telling... Ebony always said that she's not creative.
In the past.
A lot of people say that, and that's one of the worst things you could say, because everybody's creative. Everybody has something to give. Everybody has an outlet, a calling, no matter what it is. But you just have to find it. So you haven't found it yet, but make sure that you keep that out of your vocabulary. And you've done a great job so far.
Yes.
But that's
you have
very
to become
important.
conscious of it, yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. Well, because I think too, and we'll talk about this later, I think that there's also, well, at least for me, that there was like a perception and like an idea that I had in terms of creativity and what that looked like. But creativity literally looks like so many things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, before we dive into the content itself, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Jesse, 28. I'm not going to give you all the details, but I'm from San Diego. And I'm personally doing this podcast. Like I said, I'm a writer, so I write children's books.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, gotta plug my stuff. I'm doing this because I've been having writing blockages, and this is a great outlet for my creativity to flow in another path, and hopefully that'll transfer over to writing. And also, this is great to have conversations with Ebony, because we do have good conversations. A lot of stuff we don't see eye to eye on, but the good thing about us is we always try to meet in the middle.
Do we not see eye to eye, or do we just we give each other different perspectives?
Okay, yeah, we see eye to eye. Let's
just reframe that.
We see eye to eye, but we don't. We come from different perspectives, and then if we don't agree, we try to find in the middle ground.
I think it just requires a lot of introspection. Is that the word? Yeah.
Yes.
We're very introspective in terms, right? Of one another, and I think that we always have really good in-depth conversations, so
we thought we'd share it.
We thought we would share our wisdom with all of you guys.
Also, not to cut you off, but before I forget, I have a horrible memory. Before I forget, it's because society, I don't want to get you negative, but society puts a lot of hate in my heart. Obviously I don't agree with how we conduct ourselves on many levels. We don't have to go into depth on that.
We will eventually.
We will later. But this is a great outlet to process these thoughts and approach them from a more productive, creative way. Talk about them instead of doing as I was. I was drinking, but we don't drink now, which is good. But we'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm. So it's just a better way to process our thoughts is what I'm getting at. So that's why I'm doing it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Yes.
Oh, I appreciate you.
So happy to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. I agree. I think that this time in this space will just be really, really helpful for each of our journeys, and yeah, like I said, we just really have some good conversations, some good wisdom to, one, give to you guys, and then also just kind of, I think, just having these conversations to help us grow and evolve as well in our own lives. So we'll go ahead and just jump right into it. What is creativity to you? What does that mean?
Oh, man. Creativity is full expression. I guess your soul's expression through a medium. I don't know if that's the right term, because it could be expressed another way, maybe. But I guess through a medium. So my medium's writing. Some people draw. Some people create music. There's endless ways to express your soul. So I just think it's an expression of soul. And everyone has a soul. Everyone has a way to express it. Some people haven't found it yet. But it comes back to, you should never say you don't have creativity, because you definitely have it.
Are we shaming each other?
No shame.
Oh,
just,
okay.
I'm expressing.
Okay. You want to come into the camera a little bit more? I feel like bad. I see too much of me. I'll edit that out, but yeah.
No, you're good. Well, I ain't nothing. This is just, first one. Yeah, just roll with the punches. So what does creativity mean to you?
That's a good question. I mean, it's new for me. I mean, I think creativity to me is absolutely what you just said, in terms of a form of expression, expressing, ourselves, or whatever that even means, right? Like I like what you said, our soul expression. Yeah, I also just think creativity, us as beings, right? Like, creativity is really awesome. It's a really cool way to, like, express yourself in the humanly form, right? So what creativity it's such a broad spectrum, I feel like. Like you said, it can be so many different forms, but I think for me, it's very new. I'm learning that so many things are creative. Conversations can be creative, I think. Writing, I mean, I don't write books, but writing journals. Oh yeah, I'm gonna write a book soon. No, I'm kidding. Writing.
But see, that's the thing. You can't say what I don't
write a book. Do. I don't know if I want to. Is what I'm saying.
Exactly. Just be like, hey, I can do anything. I'm open.
I know I can do anything.
Because then that's the thing. Then you start putting blocks before it even happens.
Sir, I know I can do anything.
As long as you know that.
Shit. Sorry. Should I not sit like this?
You can sit however you want to sit. But go like this. You got eyelash.
They're so long.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you good. So continue. My bad.
Yeah, so creativity can look like so many things, but like I was saying in the beginning, I used to say that I'm not creative because I didn't understand what creativity looked like. I thought that you had to be an artist. I thought you had to be a musician, in whatever those cases may be. And I think that so often, like, I was never exposed to doing those things, so I didn't have the talent, at least, in my mind. I built up the idea that I didn't have that talent. But obviously anybody can paint, anybody can do these things. I just think it takes the act of actually doing them to tap into the creativity, and then, like, identify what you do resonate with and what does kind of spark a passion and inspire you. And so lately, I mean, I think painting is really awesome.
See?
I think that's really cool, and that's something that I probably at one time never thought that I could do. So that's been really fun. And I'm trying to
think making jewelry.
I'm not very good at that. You still have to teach me. But
it doesn't matter if you're good or bad. It matters if your soul likes doing it. If you're
trying new things too. I think it's about trying new things.
New things. We're trying to find where your expression lies, where your creativity lies.
Yeah. So yeah, we've made some jewelry. We I've just started painting. I think there's so many ways that you can be cooking.
We've been cooking a lot.
Cooking,
that's so fun. Yeah.
Cooking, I love cooking. I think that's my favorite form of creativity. And yeah, it's so funny too, because, like, I know when I'm not creative, like, I don't cook. Like, I don't cook, like, food or anything, and I'm like, oh, I feel kind of shitty. But then when I have that creativity and I do cook, it's so fun. It's so, like, just expressive. So cooking is really awesome. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, gardening. Okay. I also think gardening, like, I don't know if that's creative, actually. I think that's just centering. But I think that kind of coexists. I think that center, we'll go into that later.
Depends what you're doing with.
But I think centering, having a centered self, and being in alignment, I think that is the way that you tap into creativity. So that's what kind of why I thought of gardening. But basically, yeah, recently painting, cooking. I also obviously like enjoy yoga. And then just trying new things. I think trying new things really helps you kind of keep the spark. And yeah, what do you do that is creative?
So I write. I try twisting jewelry. That's fun.
Well, you do good. You're good at it. So what do you mean you try?
But I don't necessarily like it all that much. It's cool. It's fun.
You're a master, so
But
you're like,
I get frustrated too quick.
Well, it's because you're a perfectionist, low key.
Yeah.
Well, we all are.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a good thing.
You could chase perfection.
No, you can't. It's
Why
not
can't
obtainable. It's an illusion.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's attainable, but the thing is, creative people, they a lot of times tend to chase perfection. Chase.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people
They
do,
want
but
their
you
work
have to
seen how it's how they see it.
I hear
so
you.
They have to be at a certain, not necessarily, maybe not perfection, but I guess it would be perfection because it'd be perfection.
I think that's true. That's a true comment what you said, but I think that also leads to blockages when you have right. So I think that's a really tricky, slippery slope.
No, but it's necessary. But
is it
the
necessary,
downfall
though?
is it can lead to blockages. So with my book, my first children's book, which we'll show later, shameless plug. It took me. I sat alone in a room for hours, days and hours of going over lines and just rewriting them, writing again, rewriting them, just chasing perfection. But the perfection is I was chasing the perfect expression of how I wanted, how my heart
wanted
felt
to express yourself,
and how I wanted you to
receive it
the same way that I'm giving it.
In which I think that's pretty spot on. I think it's pretty spot on. Like
what do you mean the book was?
Like yeah, you can definitely feel the emotion.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing that took.
But
it was a blockage, but it was necessary.
I get it. So whatever works for you, I suppose whatever. I don't take those routes.
Well, I'll say chase. It's necessary.
Chase perfection.
Don't kill yourself.
Perfection is an illusion.
But make sure they know. Well, that's my part of view. If you have a different, that's great. But
clearly, I have a different
point of view. It's okay sometimes. Just don't let it get in your way. But that comes in back to I was having such a big blockage with creativity, and it wasn't so much chasing perfection. It was trying to control everything, trying to control the flow. So when I was out of flow state, I was trying to sit down and write. I didn't feel like writing, so I would just sit down and
sit forcefully.
Yeah,
writing?
Forcefully. And
which I think creates blockages, right?
You can't force the flow.
You can't. No.
Can't fake the funk.
You can't.
So you just.
But you did.
But I didn't know at the time until you said
it.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just like, if I sit down in front of a computer, then it will flow.
Which worked, but it was painful, I would imagine.
No, yeah, that's the thing. It does work.
It's just harder.
It's a lot harder, and you get a lot of frustration, a lot of pain, and then the blockages come. Then you won't be creative. So the best way, like you said, is to come into
like an alignment or something.
Alignment and peace at your center. And so if you ever have blockages, from my point of view, as a writer, you can sit down and write, like they say, write nonsense until the good stuff starts flowing. Or you can be creative. Like if I'm writing, then I'll stop that and be creative in another path. I'll go start cooking or doing podcasts, and hopefully it'll kick back and the creativity flow back there.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. Switching it up, not trying to stick to one thing. Which I think that you try to do a lot.
You're gonna burn yourself out. You're gonna have hate in your heart towards that, and you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Succeed.
Yeah. I feel like you would always be like, I have to write.
Because it's all control. I want control, but I'm trying to release more. Try to be calmer.
Trying to surrender more. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, and like I was telling you, what really helped with that was the affirmations.
Oh yeah.
So I've been recording what I want to happen throughout the day. I've been saying verses will come to me for my new book, lines will come to me for my new book. I record it on my phone, and then
you listen back to
I listen to it a lot of times throughout the day. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once at night, and each one is 37 minutes long. So it's the same thing, me saying the same affirmations over and over again, and then it just changes your subconscious, and it has been flowing because then you trust the universe, you trust the process, and it goes.
Right. Interesting. That's your form of. That's what bridges the gap between you surrendering, just kind of solely on your own.
You got to surrender. That's the biggest thing. Because one of the affirmations is, I have complete trust and faith in the universe. And
that affirmation actually was because we were talking about it too the other day. Those affirmations. I mean, what's the difference between affirmation and mantra? I wonder, because I mean, those affirmations. It sounds. Well, I guess they're.
Well, maybe it's not affirmation. I'm just.
No, they're kind of the same though. I'm curious now. I don't know if anybody knows.
Well, you tell me. This is what I'm doing. I'm saying something, like something I want in my head, or that I want to believe, and I just keep repeating it. So whatever that is, that's what I'm doing.
I mean, a mantra is like mind protecting, so it's almost like very similar. Like you're protecting your mind, right, from the negative thoughts,
right,
and allowing yourself to evoke a different emotion. Therefore, you can tap into a different
space,
outcome, or
energy, space. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So I guess that kind of goes into how you would find your creativity. That's kind of what you just said. That's a way that you find your creativity when you're experiencing a blockage. You would kind of just switch it up a little bit. Maybe you're writing and that's not going well. You're going to go ahead and cook a little bit and try to express yourself in different ways.
But say like a person like you didn't know you're creative. You thought you were never creative. How did you find it? Because we found it the same way.
That's not true. I thought I was, okay. If we're going back to the old days or like the old times.
Like last year?
No. Excuse me, sir.
Okay, what?
Simmer down. I'm talking about just like, I thought that I would say I'm not creative because I would pigeonhole myself essentially. Like I would say like I'm not creative because I wasn't painting, because I wasn't making music. Like I see these true passionate, like really intense creative beings that are like they're super freaking creative. Like, I mean, you wrote a book, like, you know, people are like actually painting large freaking canvases and all kinds of crazy stuff. And for me, I mean, I think my first form of creativity, if I can remember, because my memory is also pretty bad, if I can think back to, was when I did makeup. That was really creative for me.
That's another creative, yeah.
That was really creative for me. And then, I mean, just creating different looks, different colors, and like, I mean, I like to think I was fairly good at what I did, and then I decided to not wear makeup anymore, so then I kind of like started over. So then I was like, so then how am I creative? What? Well, what?
Well, you know how I feel about it.
What?
I hate makeup.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
It's
but
you
hate makeup.
I don't believe
but
it.
You okay? That's another conversation.
No, it pisses me
that's
off.
another. It pisses you
Pisses me off.
That's
but,
another conversation.
Sure, for another day. But I will say,
people wear makeup.
How much they wear. It's
okay,
a
but
lot.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying though. There's a fine line because I wore a lot of makeup and I also can wear no makeup. I wore no makeup to work. Well, there's days where I wear makeup to work, but there's also times where I can wear no makeup to work. So it's like I truly loved, and that's why I don't like that. And I think that's why when you say that, that's really triggering for me because that's one perspective and that's a misconception.
Right, but I was going to give you a compliment too. Makeup, the way you did it was one of the most expressive art forms I've seen. You did it very well, and it was very cool, and you could do it on different people and give people different looks. And as a creative person, I very much appreciate that. However, it's a love-hate. I do hate it as well. But what were you saying before that?
Well, thanks for that.
I sidetracked.
Slick.
Yeah, sidetracked.
I don't know, backhanded compliment situation.
No, I wasn't backhanded. Just
okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, what I was saying is that was a form of creative expression for me, and then when I stopped doing that, that was really hard for me to kind of identify with creativity in a sense. So I guess the second creative outlet that I came across or the next one I would say is cooking. I started cooking a lot more because I was plant-based at the time, and that really, really helped me, actually. That was probably when I was really creative in the kitchen, like just creating all kinds of weird shit. And then yoga really, really helped, but I still think that those are different. Like, I still think I'm working with the concept of creativity and what that looks like.
They're all forms of creativity, obviously, but the point was, how did you find it? And you found it by trying new things.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any creativity or you're looking to find your path, just try as many new things. Just like me, try as many new things. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Go new places. I found my creativity. I was the same way. I found my creativity when I went to New York.
You changed your environment.
I changed my environment. I went from San Diego to downtown Brooklyn, and I didn't know anybody there. I just moved there, and it was so uncomfortable, such a switch of worlds that's how I wrote the book. I was sitting alone in my room, I didn't know anybody, and everything just starts flowing because you have a new perspective on everything. You know.
And I wonder too if it's also because like you're taken away from like so many distractions and everyday like normal comfortability, like
you're taken away from comfort.
Like, you know what I mean?
You're taken away from your
comfortability. Comfortability, is that a word?
Comfortability, yeah. You're taken away from your pattern or your
Yeah,
norms.
your
You're taken away from your structure.
Yeah.
So you can turn off your mind and just go through your day. Oh, I do this now. Now I do this. Now I do this. But if you throw all that out the window and start again, that's where creativity comes from. And you should do that as much as you can with anything in life.
Yeah, just quit your job and move to Brooklyn, New York, guys.
Do that.
Here.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
that's highly advised. Okay.
Oh man.
Do that, or just do something that you wouldn't normally do. Take a dance class. I'm still trying to take dance classes because it scares the hell out of me, and I don't like. It was one of my fears before I took dance classes, but it still scares me to take dance classes. But that's something you gotta do. Put yourself out of your comfort zone as much as you can, and creativity will flow, guaranteed. And if not that, good things will flow.
When are we going to dance class?
We gotta book that appointment. I don't want to go with the current situation just because it might be annoying. But yeah, soon.
Yeah,
I don't want to mention it because but yeah.
Oh my god, whatever.
We talked about blockages. Blockages come in many ways. The best way to get through the blockages is
I have an idea.
okay. You want to go? Is to expand your creative outlets. To find your creative outlets, the best way, in my opinion, and yours too, is to try new things. Put yourself out of your comfort zone as much as possible.
Yeah.
What you can say?
Yeah, I mean, I think to spark some creativity, yes, exactly what you said. Trying different creative outlets, changing your environment. That's super, super crucial. I think you can't expect different results from the same like work you're putting in or like the same environment, the same atmosphere that you're experiencing every day. But yeah, I was gonna say I also, for me personally, and it may sound crazy and maybe it's not for everybody, but when I am experiencing some kind of creative block, like more so recently, like one, I think that not like I don't know this has a negative connotation, but distracting myself from that. Like truly just not trying, like you said, not forcing it, like removing the expectations and the result and the attachment to the outcome, and really just trying to maybe just take a break and like take a day off or rest. Like I think resting is super, super important and very underrated. Like just, if you need to lay down or rest or whatever, I think that's super, super important because you're not pushing the limits. You're not pushing yourself to like overexhaust yourself essentially, but
and become burnt out. That's a great
and
point.
burnout, yeah. And so I also think, like it's really important to maybe distract yourself from that creative outlet or that desire to be creative, because that's the pressure that you're then placing on yourself, and then that's the pressure that you're then placing on that outcome, and that is essentially, I think, working against you. So I found it really beneficial to sometimes distract myself or like go to the beach or like hang out with a friend or literally do something that's totally different than trying to just channel that energy.
Well, because that pressure you're putting on your outlet will just compress, and it'll turn into a block, and then it really won't happen. But that just comes back to, if you go to the beach and stuff, I love going to the beach, we both do. That comes back to finding a center alignment, just being at peace with yourself. Meditate. You got to meditate, drink tea, whatever you got to do to be centered and to be...
Meditate, drink tea. Put that on a shirt.
Yeah. It's the best things.
No, but yeah, it's really true. Meditation helps, obviously, tremendously. You can meditate on creativity, right? Can you speak of that?
Oh,
you
of
can
course. I meditate on creativity all the time.
And I think just believing, too, like we talked about surrendering. Like
surrendering, that's the biggest thing. I've so many blockages, so many mental strains. And the best thing to let your creativity flow is to trust, do affirmations, repeat this to yourself, record it, listen to audio, write it down, whatever you have to do, write it down multiple times.
And how'd you figure that out?
Just listening to people.
I think that's another good thing.
Yeah,
too.
listening to podcasts, listening to
like-minded people.
Like-minded people, creative people.
Yes, creative people.
Any kind of creative people. You don't have to like the music they put out, but listen to their music because it's a different expression. You don't have to like an artist's work, but look at it, see what he's trying to come across, see what he's trying to portray or whatever, and the way everything like this, you'll receive it a different way, and it'll only benefit you. So just expand your world, pretty much.
Expand your world.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Do as much as you can to expand what's around you. I'm sorry, we experienced technical difficulties. So what we said?
Oh, I was saying that I think kind of what we were saying about if you are experiencing some kind of creative block, I think it's so important to if those other techniques or modalities don't work out, like if you can't figure out how to get yourself out of that hole or whatever you want to call it. I don't necessarily think it's a hole. I think that you have to go through the flow.
Oh yeah, they're gonna happen. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
To kind of get back on. But I think it's important to listen to creative people. I think that's a way of inspiration and empowerment.
When you have blockages, don't worry about it. As frustrating as they are, as much as you hate them, they're part of the path.
Dang.
And they have to
are you
be
taking
there.
your own advice?
No, I'm gonna be pissed off later when I'm trying to write it out of a block. But you know how it is.
Well, you have to work through that. You can't be pissed off about it, but yeah.
But they're there. They're meant to. They're part of the path. They're going to be there. So just.
I think they're meant to guide you. If you're always on point, then what's the point of life?
Nobody's always on point.
That doesn't matter. Yeah, that doesn't exist.
There's
right?
ebb and flow.
Exactly. Speaking of ebb and flow, we should have told them the definition of what that means.
Oh yeah.
Right.
There's no wrong time. Go ahead. But and also the importance of creativity. How much? Don't worry about that. So how important it is, how much it pisses me off that people say they're not creative because they are creative, and we're creation. No matter what you
Well, it shouldn't piss you off. I think that because I was the person, so you have to see. I see all perspectives.
Well, because you come with compassion, I come with frustration.
Yeah, you gotta transmute that frustration and overcome it. Though we all do in many ways, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, so you are creative. And we are creation. No matter what you believe in, we are creation on this earth. We are
all creators.
I mean, yeah, we're all creators. Yeah. We're an expression. I believe we're an expression of Mother Nature, our environment we live in, our environment we're from. We're just an expression of life.
Absolutely.
And that's why I love Mother Nature, because if you look at, say, a bird or anything, or any animal, by looking at that and their adaptations, you can tell what kind of environment they're from based on their specific adaptations.
But you taught me that, which I appreciate.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But that's why I have compassion, because I didn't grow up with that exposure. So I don't know all that stuff that you know about nature, Mother Nature, and about the adaptations that animals adapt to, you know what I mean, their environments and whatnot, and their evolution. I didn't know that. So, I mean, that's why I can have a deep sense of compassion for people who are, who do believe that they're not creative, or they have opposing opinions about creativity and or our opinions, or and or our perspective, shall I say, or your perspective. And that's why I think it's important for you to have compassion. But that's what I'm saying, though. You had a different upbringing too, so your connectedness.
No, when it comes back to creativity, I wasn't creative, just like you weren't creative, and I didn't believe I was.
But that's a nice way to look at it, like you just said, like thinking of it in terms of Mother Nature. Like, right? Like we are an expression of life. We are creators. Yeah. We are, what did you say? We are creators. You had said something like, it was good. I don't know. Basically just talking about us being creators. Like you can always bring that back and tie that to Mother Nature, because you bridged that gap, which is a really beautiful, seamless bridge. But that's what I'm saying. Not a lot of people can tie that back into Mother Nature. So I think that works in your favor, but that's why I can have compassion for people who don't maybe have that same outlook.
But that's not the outlook that made me creative, though.
But it helps and aids in that, because you have that to fall back on, like, oh, I'm a creative being because this, and that.
But I just recently, really? I knew it, but I made the connection in my brain recently. Okay. But that's the thing. That's the difference between us. One of us, you come with compassion because you weren't creative. We both were toxic people. A little while ago. Somewhat recently. We both.
Okay.
Well, some of us close sooner than others. or more recently than others. But
Wait a
we
minute.
both were toxic people,
Watch the table.
and
Reports.
we both were toxic people, and we came out of it. And
Well,
you come with compassion because you say, I was that person, so I have compassion for other people like that. I come with hate because, and I shouldn't, well, but it's still anger. I have a lot of anger
you have to transmute your anger. Yes.
because I was that person, and I don't forgive myself
And you
for being
okay,
that person.
and
that's why I put it on other people.
Oh yeah,
Or like, yo,
projectors.
get your shit together, you know.
You're projecting your own insecurities onto other people. Essentially, that's what that is.
Or,
Yeah, that's an insecurity that you had of yourself. That is absolutely an insecurity. Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe that word's triggering, but...
No, it's not triggering. I'm just trying to place it.
Yeah, it would be an insecurity because you're not forgiving yourself. It wouldn't be an insecurity. It would be you're projecting your own wounds. Maybe that's a different way to turn it.
Maybe, yeah.
You're projecting your own wounds onto other people, and then you're also setting expectations on other people. I read this thing earlier today. I wish I had it, but basically, you can only change yourself, and that's the thing that helped me. That's when I put compassion into place, not to go on a rampage or like it's tangent, but putting compassion into play helped me stop putting expectations onto other people. Therefore, I was able to identify them as the same. I think that it's so important to look at every being as myself. It's so important because realistically, and you know it, that we are all one. We are all creators. We are all created. We're all connected to the same source. So essentially, that would mean...
Essentially, yes. I do know this. However, I find it hard when people have so much potential.
Absolutely. I get it. It's frustrating. But that's why I want
to waste it all.
And that's why I wanted to stop you when you had said that we're no longer...
To life.
In your opinion, yes. That's why I wanted to stop you when you had said that we're no longer toxic. That is a toxic trait. We are toxic beings. We are just aware.
No.
Yes, we are, Jesse. We have consciousness now that we didn't have and we didn't obtain then. But now we have it. And yes, we do have toxic traits from time to time.
But that doesn't make it toxic people. If toxic people is when the toxicity, say it with me, runs your being.
Sure. But that,
when you have toxic qualities.
I think that, no, I don't know. Sure. I mean, we don't identify and label with anything though, at the end of the day. So sure, you can say that if that's what you want. But I also think that the differentiating aspect of that is that, one, we were toxic people when we were unconscious. Absolutely, we were toxic people because we had toxic behaviors, toxic traits, hung out probably with toxic people, and we were essentially unconscious. We were in autopilot. We had no sense of awareness. That is all we knew. So that is toxic because you're not evolving essentially, kind of, in that as long as you're there. And I think now you can be conscious and you can have toxic traits, but I don't even like to say toxic traits. I like to say wounded response. I think maybe that's a nicer way to say it. Right. And that's what I like to say is that we do have those traits still. So, and then going also...
That doesn't make you a toxic person.
Also, yeah. But then that makes it seem like we're putting ourselves in some kind of hierarchy. And I don't like
that.
No,
no one ever said that.
But it kind of
like I said the other day. Well, we don't have to go into it now. This could be another episode. Because we're talking about creativity. We got a little sidetracked. But we'll talk about that another day. But no.
Yes.
Just no.
Anyways, okay, whatever. We don't always get along. He just doesn't get it, guys. I'm kidding. Basically, ebb and flow.
Yeah, what does it mean?
We should talk about what that means, right? So the two phases of the tide or any similar movement of water. The ebb is the outgoing phase when the tide drains away from the shore, and the flow is the incoming phase when water rises again. I think that's just, you can experience that within everything. You experience that kind of energy within life. You experience that kind of energy within creativity.
That's the blockages and the flow.
Exactly. Like, without the blockage, you can't have the flow. And without the flow, you can't have the blockages. Like, it just doesn't work.
Without the toxic people, you can't have the conscious people. Without the conscious people, you can't have the toxic people. Everything has a supporting opposite in this life. And we'll talk about that in the episode.
We should all be loved, though.
All be loved?
We should all be loved, though. We should all be loved.
Ideally, yeah. But
love being. Love. No hate in our hearts.
Yeah, get through it. Well, so what are some outlets that you look forward to expressing your creativity in? Do you have any?
I already said that.
You're looking forward to?
Oh. This outlet?
Okay, well, besides this one.
Oh,
do you have anything
my new job.
Okay.
That's creative for me. I feel like it's
Yeah.
really, really actually awesome for me. I feel. Is there anything else that you're trying to like pull out of me? Is this a trick question?
No, it was a
Okay.
question, whatever you want to tell. But where do you work? You work at a coffee shop.
Yes, I work at a coffee shop, and it's different. I quit my corporate job that was really secure and stable.
So brand new.
And
Right.
okay. And very secure and stable, in which I was grateful for those 6 years that I spent there. But yeah, trying something new, different vibe, different energy, being around. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say earlier when I was talking about listening to this. What? See, my brain, it works great. Very, very amazing and very inspiring when you hang out with creative people. So that's what I was gonna say. This new job, I feel like I'm around a lot more creative people, and the vibrations and the energy is just different. So yeah, I would say.
So that comes back to another good point. Cut out the people in your life that are keeping you from your creativity, doubting you. Anyone that's not supporting what you want to do.
Yeah, and I was also gonna say, substances too. Like that's kind of like right? Like that kind of goes into
it's hard because I used to drink a lot, right? I used to drink a good amount. We just stopped and substituted for tea, and I drink a lot of tea. But the point is,
I didn't drink a lot, so it wasn't hard for me to cut out drinking. But smoking, I stopped smoking.
Well, that's what we meeting the editorial we. Okay. Well, yeah. So you started smoking, same thing. But and I'm still debating whether that. I know it hurts my brain, but I'm debating whether that affects my creativity because all of the best writers, they have a tendency to be alcoholics.
But who cares? I mean, I
don't know. I'm just wondering because they still put out some great stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
I stopped it because I
just think that it's important to just be within your own state of consciousness too. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But for me personally, I can speak to my own experiences. I feel so good when I'm running off of my own energy. When I don't have to smoke. Like I enjoyed smoking like before bed. Like it was really chill. But then when I was peeling back the layers of that, like I was able to identify, well, one, I was binge eating. Then later at night, I was binge eating. And I was going to bed really late, and I was just watching TV. It just kind of created a sluggish, like, internal and external environment for me, and which was okay. I kept telling myself it was okay in the time because it was like, oh, right before bed, and like I'm just like unwinding, and which that's true, but I think that there's ways you can substitute that and still not lose that energy, because I think that was a big thing. Is I was losing energy because then it was so hard to get up in the morning. And then my day is all jacked up because then I can't do my morning routine, which essentially helps cleanse and purify your mind and your body and your energy.
So that you'll be ready for creativity.
Exactly.
But not to say that this works for me, this works for her, and some other people. But I know some people that drink all day. They don't, I guess, plan their day optimally, as I would see, maybe to them. But they're still creative, People smoke for their creativity. People drink for their creativity.
Yeah, that's another thing that was hard when I stopped smoking, because there was times where I can maybe smoke during the day, and I'd be like, wow, this is really, I can do like anything. Right. So it's about finding a balance, definitely. And
but maybe, finding a balance or me, like I'm not that person.
Yeah.
If I did that, it would destroy my creativity. Like all day it would. But I know people that could do it and they'd be fine. So depending who you are, if you're that person, you got to find out what kind of person you are. I'm not saying abuse anything, but I mean,
substance abuse as well.
It might be a blockage to, your creativity.
Yeah, but to kind of go back into, because I went on another tangent. This podcast should have been the tangent podcast.
The ADHD podcast?
No, the tangent podcast. I don't like that. Everybody says they have ADHD. Never mind.
It's a trend.
Yeah, it's a trend. It's like,
we just have active minds.
Nobody wants to hear my thought on that.
Well, so what happened?
Oh, no, I was going to talk about the job. Just, I think that this is, you asked what are some new creative outlets that I'm really excited about. And I think that this one is really exciting for me. It's a different atmosphere, different environment, different team, different dynamic. It's new, it's fresh. It makes me nervous. Well, it did make me nervous. I'm really not nervous.
Well, so it's taking you out of your comfort zone.
Taking me out of my comfort zone, absolutely. Taking me out of my comfort zone. It's just different. It's a totally different vibe. I'm able to insert myself in different ways. Like, I'm really able to craft. And I know maybe that sounds branded, but it's really not. It's literally crafting and creating a beverage. I think that's really awesome. I don't necessarily drink a lot of coffee. I have been drinking more coffee, but it is a stimulant for me, and I try to stay away from stimulants because that's just a little bit much for me. But
well, this is our first one. How long?
I've had coffee every day this week.
I feel really jacked
No, I've
up.
had coffee every day this
Oh,
week.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't.
I've been on a coffee wave again.
Yeah.
Which is weird because typically, because sometimes we're like, I can't. I don't know. I also think it's a control of my mind. Like I used to have coffee and I would tell myself I'm get all jacked up, and then I would get all jacked up.
Right.
And now I have coffee and I'm like, okay, just drink some water and like you're gonna be fine.
But the most important thing is just to not start your day with it.
Absolutely.
Like
don't start your day with a cup of coffee. Yeah. And oh my god, so many people do. Drink your freaking water, people.
Or tea.
Drink your water.
Tea.
Drink your water and then drink your tea. When I met you, you still don't even drink water, really.
Tea? What is tea?
Whatever, dude.
Fused water.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something I'm really excited about, and I think just being in that new environment and doing different things daily is definitely going to help me. One, it's going to give me so much more freedom too.
Right.
Like less responsibility, which I'm stoked about.
Less stress.
Less stress. It's not corporate, which no shame to corporate if you're working a corporate job. It's just personally, I'm trying to explain this to people too, like because like people are shocked or whatever, but personally, it's just not me. Like when you know that something's not in alignment with your soul, it's just a constant internal battle. Right. That doesn't.
They're shocked because they think money's king.
Yeah.
Like, it should be right for you. You make a lot of money. It should be right for you.
Yeah. And I think that I understand those opinions. I understand those perspectives because that's what we're taught in this society. But yeah, I think that this will be super awesome. I'm really excited about it. And I think that it's going to give me a lot more time, a lot more freedom to do the things that I do like. I mean, I'm working on this big masterpiece here of a painting. Don't know where it's going, but it's fun.
It doesn't matter where it's going.
It doesn't matter where it's going.
The thing is getting done. And,
look at you.
Start a form of creativity.
Inspiring. Yeah, what are you I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I always forget things. I'm probably forgetting something. Yeah, I mean, I also think, like, I want to do a lot of things. Like, I really want to get out and I want to do, like, a class, like, in-session class with somebody else. I think that really evokes creativity as well. I want to go rock climbing soon.
So
just doing things, like, in nature.
Just being open to whatever.
Open, being free. Being open is very, very, obviously,
don't
very
say,
important.
Yeah, don't say no to I mean, maybe it doesn't sound like something you'd be into, but just say yes, give it a try, you know. Worst case scenario, you put out of your comfort zone, and it comes back to benefit you in the end.
And or you learn that you don't like it.
And you learn for sure you don't like it, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, what are you excited about? What are you working on creativity-wise right now? Working on another book?
I'll work on the second book, yeah. So, but I've been experiencing blockages, like I said, so hopefully this will, you know, kind of take the ebb away and make this flow a little bit. So that cooking, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you made a really good dinner the other night.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That was really good. I was really impressed. Very impressed.
So I've been trying to cook.
And you made a sandwich last night.
Which wasn't as good. No, it was done well. But I feel like I didn't pick the ingredients.
The sandwich is fine. I'm only kidding. But the meal, the ceviche that we made.
Yeah.
Do you have any more of it or no?
Yeah, no, it's still there.
So where is it?
You know, I'll have to bring that over. But so I think
very good.
Appreciate that.
Oh, next time? Okay.
What?
I'm getting too excited about this.
Talking to the camera, talking to me.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
What?
You should put cucumbers in there. That would be so good. I just thought about that right now. Yeah. Okay, anywho.
Check that out. See, creative. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cooking, yeah, that was
definitely.
Good. What else?
But the thing is, see, writing is big for me right now, and cooking is big. But I'm experiencing blockages because I think I am comfortable. I'm getting comfortable, so I gotta shake myself up a little bit. And
I also think you put a lot of expectations, and pressure on yourself. But sure.
You know, that was rolling dice, by the way. Pause. I was rolling dice. So shake myself up and you know, switch it up. Go somewhere else.
Where are you gonna go?
Who knows? I gotta whatever scares me the most. Gotta be there. You know. How we doing on time?
Don't ask me that again.
Okay. Well.
Anywho, so I mean, yeah, we're kind of wrapping it up right now. So to tie it up, I mean, we talked about a little bit about us. I really didn't give an intro on who I am, but.
Oh, you didn't, huh? Well,
no.
Just go ahead.
Now, awkward.
So what?
So this is clearly no agenda. We have like little talk points. We go on tangents. If you're not into that, don't watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, about me, my name's Ebony. I am 24. I don't know if I want to say my age. I'm 24. I make coffee for a living. and tea.
For now.
For now.
Whatever happens.
And I'm not identified with our lockdown.
Exactly.
I don't identify with anything. Don't want to pigeonhole myself, but yeah. And also live in the San Diego area. And I would love a change of environment as well. Eventually, very soon. I don't know. One day. But that's pretty much it about me. So, I mean, in this episode, we just wrapped up talking about creativity, the outlets that we personally are pursuing, blockages, ways to tap into flow state. And yeah, is there anything else that you want to do or you want to say? I think that it's important for you to plug your book here so we can talk a little bit about that.
So my book.
This is the camera, remember?
My bad. I write children's books. Okay, this is my first one.
What are these about?
I don't really have. It's funny you asked that. I will tell you. I don't have anyone promoting it, so I kind of do it myself. Well, I don't really have. I guess someone is, but they're. But anyhow, I'm sorry.
Here we are. You have to plug yourself. You have to be your own supporter, your main supporter. So
they call me Jesse Dawson, the Rebel Writer. That's my name.
Oh.
So I write books to expand the mind. This book here is about. I wrote it. I don't want to give you too much, but I wrote it through the eyes of an 8-year-old girl, and she's living in New York. She's, I guess, not a typical child.
She's not a typical child.
And she doesn't agree
in America.
Yeah, how she's bullied and
typical societal.
Stuff
she doesn't
like that.
identify with the typical societal norms.
Exactly. So she's out of the norm.
She's kind of more in touch with nature.
Exactly.
And her external environment and her internal environment, essentially, too, right?
She's a loner. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in a loving way, because I wrote it. I wrote myself to this little girl. So she finds an unusual friend, and
is it unusual?
It is. Is
he unusual?
It's unusual, yeah. And the good thing is, it's a true story. Everything in this book happened, but it happened to me. So I just wrote it to the eyes of a girl, like I said.
Which is amazing.
The best part is, so I donate 100% of the profits to wildlife organizations. San Diego Zoo Global. I'm not trying to plug them or anything, but I want to donate to them, partner with them. Okay. What's up? And some places in Costa Rica, maybe, because we just got back.
Let's say maybe.
Okay, yeah. We'll
remove the maybe, right?
I want to partner with them to get logos in my book, so you can definitely know where the funds are going, but you can take my word for it. All the profits, all the author profits, 100% go to wildlife protection. Mm-hmm. So you can find the book on Amazon.com, and Dorrance, it's called DorranceBookstore.com.
Which we can leave that in the description.
Oh, definitely. And ebook, paperback, and hardcover. This is the paperback. Great children's book. I call it 8 to 80. Adults will love it. Children will love it.
That's a really good analogy to use.
Because
I feel like you could. I mean, anybody can read that book.
I appreciate that. That's what I shot for.
Gain knowledge from it.
But for the future, we sponsor ourselves. So anything we do, we sponsor ourselves. We're not out for money. We're just out to try to better the world as much as we can, I guess.
Express our creativity.
And
hopefully have you guys or anybody receive it and maybe resonate with it. Maybe you don't, and maybe you just spread the word, and maybe it can reach other people that might resonate with it. So really, just going back to what we said, this space is for us to be creative, and it's really important. Like you said, nobody's what did you say? Like nobody's advocating for the book, essentially, or like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you're doing your own advertising, essentially. So that's what really this is about. That's what this platform is about. I also think it's important to plug local creative beings. I mean, so I think that maybe even too, like, that is like, we could do something like that here. Like, if there are local artists or people that like, do you want to reach out to us? Like, that would be cool.
Definitely, yeah, we're definitely open to that.
You can find us on all the socials at EbandFlow. On Instagram, it'd be EbandFlow.podcast. And then on YouTube, I believe, it'll just be EbandFlow podcast. So, that wraps up this episode 1, a little introduction about us and creativity and what it means to us. And then our next episode, which will be out the following week, hopefully, is going to be about fears.
I'm very excited about that one. And also, if you want any expansion, comment her in the comments and say if you want expansion on what parts of creativity, because there's a lot we didn't touch on. And I know that, and I know we forgot stuff, and I know we can't hit it all in 45 minutes.
Relax. We can't.
It's very important, all right? So make sure you regardless, you don't expand on anything.
Are you done?
All right, we're done. And
Is you done or not?
cut.
Are you done?
That's it.
Okay.
It's a wrap.
That's where we're going to end?
That's it.
Jesse, that's not very nice. Oh my gosh. Legs asleep?
No, that was,
your knees asleep?
Muscular.
What muscle?
I was sitting like this for like an hour.
What muscle? All right, that's it.